Hello, everybody, and welcome back to something that is not the Star Wars Expanding Universe. But we have been in this universe once before, and that was to review Dune by Frank Herbert before the movie came out, to be prepared for that review, or to be prepared for that movie when I saw it. I wanted to take a small break from Star Wars, but I realized how addicted I was, because I kept wanting to come back while reading this. But what I'm talking about today is part of the Legends of Dune trilogy, which is Book 1, The Butlerian Jihad, by Brian Herbert, Frank Herbert's son, and Kevin J. Anderson from Star Wars acclaim. At least that's what I know him best from, with all the stuff he's done for the EU. I'm not going to get into spoilers, really. I will one thing, but I don't really have notes. The main thing to know is that this takes place 10,000 years before the events of the original book. And it is written extremely differently. If you want something deep and complex with all the political intrigue and everything going on left and right there, like in Dune, you're going to be disappointed. This may be a negative to you. It is written much more like Star Wars in terms of its simplicity. If the Star Wars prequels, flaws and all, was trying to tell a much deeper, complex, and grand story, and the OT is more of that simplistic, fun, but also, heartfelt and meaningful story, that's kind of the vibe I got from these books. So, like, reverse. So, like, the original book gives you that complexity. This one is much more simpler, but simple does not mean bad. It's just different. The way it is written, the way everything goes down. Everything with the robots I find absolutely fascinating. That's probably the deepest part of the book, I guess you can say, is especially with the character Erasmus, the robot who wants to understand humanity and wants to transcend humanity. That character's fascinating. And all the characters are fine, they're developed fine, but because this is, um, more about the war than about the internal politics and the scheming, it is much more straightforward. In the original Doom book, you had a lot of people with different motivations and, hiding things and having their own agendas and all that, but that's not really here. You know, though I was surprised at how it is, because it's not like Rise of the Machines. It's not like Terminator or um like the Matrix. I mean, I guess it'd be more like the Matrix in the sense that the machines won already. I mean, you don't find that out till later in the Matrix, but the machines have won. Basically, think about it like that. It's 2022 right now, so 10,000 years after today would be the time of these books, and then another 10,000 years after that would be the original Dune book and its subsequent sequels. But um, I really enjoyed this book. It's a lot of fun. Um, I mean, I could tell right away that it wasn't as deep. Like, I could tell by the writing. That being said, I really enjoy it. Now, I don't know why fans have such. Well, it's very split, because let's be honest, there's like 5 stars on these books everywhere and a lot of positive reviews. But if you search up a review online anyway, you're gonna get something negative. So it definitely seems polar opposite, um, or like 50-50 with the fan base. And there are Frank Herbert purists who want nothing else and only the original works. Only Frank Herbert's works are canon. How dare you try to intrude upon this universe? But as far as I know, Brian Herbert had his father's notes. So while this is most definitely probably not what Frank would have necessarily done had he written this, it's not exactly out of character either, because it's following certain bullet points and then they just did their own thing moving forward from there. That being said, there's nothing in here that's contradictory per se. I mean, there was an encyclopedia or whatever that was made for Dune that made things sound slightly differently, but it's no worse than what Star Wars has done with how they've changed certain things. you know? And, I mean, I guess a lot of people don't like the Star Wars prequels either, but I don't know, man. I don't have an issue with this book, but maybe it's because I'm just not as invested in Dune as I am invested in other franchises. Now, I really enjoyed Dune. I enjoyed that most of it was talking. I enjoyed that 200 pages were exposition to simply make me understand the universe better. I appreciated that, and I enjoyed the movie that we got out of it. Um, however, the funny thing is I think this book would be better adapted into a film than the original Dune book is, because the Dune book is so complex and so intricate that it would be hard to. I mean, they managed it, I think, but it's not easy, and they did exclude some scenes like that wonderful dinner scene. But we have the machines, they have taken over. We have the humans. Many are slaves, some are still resisting. But the catalyst is what happens at the end of this book to begin the Butlerian Jihad, the religious war against the evil machines. Is it worth your time? I think so. We get to see Xavier Harkonnen for the first time ever, as far as I'm aware. We get to see a good Harkonnen. If you don't know what the Harkonnens is, and you're one of the new people that came to Dune from the new movie, the fat guy and everybody that was bald in that movie was a Harkonnen. And this guy is a good one, which was cool. We also have Vorian Atreides, who is whose dad is one of. So you have normal robots, and then you have robots that were spared by the machines, and basically they were humans who had their brains put into a robot body. So they aren't the same as the robots because they used to be people, but they're still part of the robot faction. But in here, we see so much of the beginnings of what we'd see in that original Doom book. We have the Harkonnens, the Atreides. It is probably because of this trilogy that they become the royal houses that we see moving forward. We see Holtzman, the guy who creates the shields that we see in the original trilogy. And again, this entire war, this entire battle against the machines will make it be for why nobody really uses, technology anymore in the future Doom books. I mean, the real reason is because Frank Herbert wanted to make his sci-fi universe be unique. Everybody was doing robots. That was the thing. So instead he decided, you know what? No. Robots, that's my backstory. That's what happened in the past. But we're going to move past that to do something more unique. We're gonna make human computers and witches and all this stuff and make it interesting and fun, and it really works. I mean, I've not read all the stuff yet. I've not read Dune Messiah or Children of Dune or God Emperor of Dune, where Paul's son somehow becomes a worm person. That's gonna be a trip, but this is really, to me, it was a really good time. You may not agree if you are expecting the level of quality that Frank Herbert brings or the same way of writing, then you are setting yourself up for disappointment. If you are going in with the expectation that it is not as deep and layered as that original book, and you aren't expecting two different people to write exactly like Frank Herbert, then you might be pleasantly surprised at how good this book is, especially with one character, especially Erasmus, the droid or the robot, who's absolutely phenomenal. Um, I'll probably write notes more for when I get to the third book and I kind of just talk about everything that I thought about. But overall, I do think that this is worth your time. However, I'm addicted to Star Wars, so what I've decided is I'm going to wait till I get to episode 4. I'm going to watch episode 4, chronologically in my Star Wars Expanded Universe reviews, and then I'll finish off this trilogy here with the Machine Crusade and the Battle of Corran. So until then, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you don't want spoilers, now it's time to go. I only have one really big one for you. So if you don't want that, please go and read these books. Give them a shot at least. Get it at the library or something. If you don't like it, then you don't have to read it ever again. But give it a shot. I thought it was really good. Nowhere near the level of the original Dune book, but still a fun time. Anyway, biggest thing. Oh my gosh, the end of this book. So freaking Erasmus, who's amazing. If you guys are part of my Expanded Universe reviews, he's He's like Nominor plus Thrawn, and I love it. I love him. He's my favorite character in this book, which is saying something because he's the villain. And he lets Serena Butler, the main characters in the book, have her baby that she's pregnant with, Xavier Harkonnen's son. And after a while, he gets fed up with the baby because he's hindering the time to debate with Serena. And so he takes the baby and chucks the baby off the roof. And the baby splatters on the floor. It's like a 3-story building. And chucks this like 1-year-old to death. Like that that baby's dead. And all the slaves and stuff notice this, and that is what sparks. This is what unites and begins the Butlerian Jihad against the machines. That's the catalyst for all the rage and anger that they have had pent up, but have been unwilling to actually go through with anything until that atrocity, where they went, okay, too much is too much. We must act now. And it was hard to read. I mean, it's not like that intense, but still, just a baby being chucked off of a building and dying. Like I I didn't want to read about that. That was awful. But it was also an excellent way to bring a catalyst for such a holy religious war against the machines. But overall, yeah, I think it was a good time, and I think you'll enjoy it. Till next time, guys. May the melange, spice, turn your eyes blue. I was gonna say may the force be with you, but this is not Star Wars. Till next time, guys. Have a good one.